What's up, guys? We are at our Needham project. We are with Teak Design Group as well as Cassie Gernon, and we introduced this project a couple months ago, and we were getting ready for demolition. We did demolition, and now we are into site work. We took a little sabbatical after we got demo done to get the design finalized. I got Mike on site. Mike is going to be the job super on this project from today until this job is complete. We have water in the hole. So what's going on?
'Tis the season.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we actually had a survey, the engineer come out, and they told us that we were going to have high groundwater.
Yep.
So-
Yeah, so back when we're doing demo, the engineer came out, we dug test pits to figure out where groundwater was. And so based off of that information, we designed the house to stay a foot above that water level. But obviously with the changing of the seasons, the groundwater does move around a bit.
Sure.
So we have to just account for that.
So when they designed the house, one of the things that we realized is that the house is going to be higher than it was. 'Cause
Much higher,
this is
yeah.
we're at our base grade where we were before,
Correct.
and we're much lower than at that sidewalk. If I were to guess, 4 or 5 feet, and we're talking about setting the house so our entry is very close to the height of that sidewalk.
The house will be raised up, a couple of feet. That'll allow the water to pitch away, which is good. We don't want it in our, basement. We
Yeah.
don't want to flood a basement. And it's going to make the entry to the house, more gradual, be easier to pull in and out of here. The driveway, I think you've talked about it before, it does get shifted down to the other side.
Right.
So it's really going to help this lot out. So we got to bring in actually quite a bit of fill to bring, the new foundation elevation, like you mentioned, roughly where that sidewalk is. So we gotta fill this
And we
whole
got a
area.
big lot here. It's over an acre, close to an acre and a half, if I remember right. So right here, this is our deepest point. This is bottom of hole, right?
Correct.
And we got a ton of, oh, there's Bob now.
Yeah.
We have a ton of water in this hole.
do.
We've been pumping this out in order to keep the excavation going.
Correct.
And over there, we're still high. So what's going on
Yeah.
over there? Well, let me back up. We're standing at what is the corner of the primary suite of the home.
Correct.
And then right about where that pink stake is the center of the home, which will be our entrance. We have a single car garage that is accessed on the side of the house.
Yep.
Over there is our driveway on the other side of that tree. We have our mudroom over there, our kitchen there, our primary suite here, and then a 2-car garage
All the way
way
over.
over where all those pink stakes are.
Yep.
But all this dirt is still at a pretty high elevation. So what
Yep.
is the purpose behind that?
So we just started stripping off the top layer to get down close, and then we'll crawl back in and bring this down to finished grade. Right now we're kind of dealing with frost, snow, rain, water, you name it, we got it right now. So we stripped off the top layer. They're stockpiling that out back. We'll be able to reuse all that on the property. And then we're gonna crawl back in and then bring this down to the bottom of our footing elevation. So we started to get there, and we're running into shale and ledge.
So what is shale?
The top layer of ledge, right? You're getting down
Basically,
super dense, and
Yeah, it's breaking
it's
up.
rock.
It's not.
it's rock
not
that you
solid.
can break through. It's
So
not great.
they're making it through with this machine here, right?
Correct.
Walk me through. Let's walk around. Talk to me where we have the most ledge. And one of the things, we actually
You
talked
can do
about.
whatever you want, Bob. What do you need? You grabbing anything?
What's
You
up,
want to
man?
say hi? We can
You're
get
good.
you on camera.
Get him on camera.
This is Bob.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
I heard you just drove a loader from here to Hingham.
Yeah.
You're a maniac.
Yeah, actually did.
Well,
I was,
You
Still
poor
you.
guy.
yeah, I had to get
It's insane.
some other stuff. Storm tomorrow,
yeah.
snow prep.
I want to talk to you about another project we don't have yet,
Yep.
but it's in Canton. You're from Canton, right?
I'm from Milton.
Milton.
Oh,
My
okay.
yard's in Canton.
Okay. I'll follow up with you on it.
Okay.
But it's a project that probably a year out,
Yep.
but it's a super complicated site, and I just want you to take a look at it and get some feedback on it.
Sounds like fun.
Cool.
All right.
More ledge than this, I'll tell you that.
That's all right. We got people for that.
Cool.
We can make it happen.
Awesome, man.
All right.
Cheers.
See ya. I
See ya.
gotta run.
Hey, have fun.
So Bob is our site guy. He's the one doing all this. So walk me through where are we hitting ledge? What's the
Yeah, it's kinda-
the general idea of what we're gonna do? What's Bob gonna do? We're gonna get a big machine. We're gonna get some dynamite.
Dynamite would be fun, but we're kind of close to the school, so
Okay.
we're going to stray away from that one. So Bob actually has a hammer available for that machine, and luckily with this being that shale, Doug, you can kind of get a picture of it in there in the water. When you're digging across it, the top layer is ripping off, and you're getting, it's breaking up into these smaller particles. And so like we hit a chunk that he can't quite dig through, so you put a hammer on it, it should break up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And we're just slowly working around, and we'll strip this whole area back down, get it down to our finished grade, and then the areas that we cannot get through with the excavator, we'll come back with a hammer and break those up and get them out of our way.
Gotcha. So we have some snow coming tonight into tomorrow.
Correct.
And you just said that you were dealing with frost, and actually we'll table this for another conversation, but we've been using Procore. We switched over to Procore. I was reading one of your daily logs the other day, and you were talking about pumping the water out, but you had stopped pumping the water because you wanted to leave the water to help with frost.
Just try to prevent it from freezing, right? If you can keep it above freezing.
So
keep
basically
the frost
that
off.
water, though it will freeze into ice, is still a blanket to kind of prevent that frost? Is that the idea?
That was the idea behind it. I mean, the snow.
Did it work?
I mean,
You think so?
I'm
I'm not trying to put you on the, I am
still
putting you
quite
on the spot.
yeah, there's still quite a bit of frost on the ground.
But it hasn't
We're
been,
gonna
I
have
mean,
to
we've been
address
getting
it.
these crazy freeze thaws.
It
through
was
this
what,
season.
65 degrees yesterday, and
Beautiful. That's why I'm
20
not wearing a jacket. I'm like, it's warm.
It's like 22 right
fighting
now
through
or
it.
something. So we, I mean, we're into it. We got that crazy freeze thaw mud season.
Yeah. So
So,
they just ripped their machine out of here. They're going to deal with snow for a couple days. But the goal is to get this thing back down to bottom of hole. But what happens when we get into, foundation work? What are we doing with this water? How are we going to get down there and start forming, placing concrete? And then furthermore, we got to deal with this water when the house is built. We're essentially, we oftentimes talk about our waterproofing details. Think about filling a bathtub and taking a 5-gallon bucket and pushing it down into that water. That bucket wants to float. It's the same thing here where, maybe not as dramatic, but if we're trying to put a foundation that's down in water, you think that it would want to
it's
float.
gonna find least resistance. Water will find its way in.
So we're combating that in the build with multiple sump pumps. We're dealing with the engineer to make sure that our drainage systems are, indoor, outdoor, great waterproofing on the walls.
Yep.
But going back to my question, what are we doing for when the foundation guys show up?
So we'll have to keep it dry. We'll have to do our best to keep the water out of here. We do have a geo engineer that's going to come in, take a look at the shale and our soil conditions, and help direct us on like the best method for that. So once we hear back from them, we'll have a clear outline on what they would like to see for when we start putting in that foundation. And then on top of structural and civil engineers as well. And they've done a great job detailing out, like you were just mentioning, interior drainage, exterior drainage, raising the foundation up, sloping the grade away from the house, help
Right.
shed water. So doing everything we can.
Because we actually we have a drainage system that actually can be tied into stormwater. I believe some of the site work or site drainage can be tied into
Sump can.
to city storm.
Yeah, so the interior sump drain will come out and it'll run out the far corner of the lot, and there's actually a drain that we can tie into over there. The perimeter drain for the house is going to have a drainage system on site.
So that will go into some sort of dry well and kind of just
Yeah.
recharge well. With that being said, so as far as the geotech, that's someone that we're just hiring for an inspection, basically bottom of hole inspection. Hey, we ran into some dicey conditions.
Yep.
Before
Silty, shale. so-
before we put a house on top of this thing, are there any considerations that we need to make for structural consideration?
We would hate to get a year or two down the road and have issues. So
I don't want to get 5-10 years down
Yeah,
the road and be
whenever
like, hey,
it might be. So
my
that's what-
primary suite broke off from the rest of my house.
yeah, my foundation's cracking, or whatever it might be. So
Sure.
spend the time now, make sure we get the right people involved, have everybody look at it. Obviously these people specialize in that. So
Right.
we'll have them look at it and get their feedback and then go from there.
Speaking of specialists, previous episode we talked about protecting these trees. We have this amazing sweet gum tree. It's the biggest of its kind in the area or something like that.
It's gotta be, it's massive.
It's got this keep out sign around it. We got caution tape tied to it, but we're not allowed in there. But one thing that you had done is actually you called them, right?
Yep.
What was the reason behind that? I'm
Well,
sorry, you called the arborist who
The
protected the
arborist.
tree.
Yep, they came
Why?
out, they protected it. Well, we dug a giant hole right next to it. So
And we're talking about little roots like
yep,
that.
we have some small roots, and over on the other side, when we stripped the loam off, we did run into some larger roots. So, obviously we want to do everything we can to make sure that this tree, remains healthy. So now that we've gone into the excavation is done in this area, have the arborist come out and just get their recommendations to make sure that nothing happens to that tree.
Cool. So snow tomorrow, foundation hopefully next weekish.
Yeah.
We're getting them, and then right behind that we're going to be setting up for our drainage, our getting everything backfilled, our slabs, and then we go into framing.
Yep,
We got a busy couple weeks.
we do.
Well, Mike's going to be on this job site, so we're going to be touching base with him on a regular basis. Stay tuned for another episode of Site Visit, and we'll see you guys next week.